Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to our Tiger Connect for tonight, where we'll be talking about gamification, coding, and content creation. My name is Will D'Amport, and tonight, to assist me, I'll be working together. Will be Elvira D'Amport, who is a teacher in the district, teaches gifted education at Timms and Woodley Elementary. So we're going to start off with the mission and vision of Hattiesburg Public School District. The mission is to educate all students to become productive citizens of a dynamic global community. Our vision is to be a model teaching and learning community that graduates productive and caring citizens who are prepared to succeed. The goals of the district: number one is academic success, all students proficient and or showing growth in all academic areas. Community support and engagement means to foster community partnerships that support student achievement and student success. Safe and orderly schools maintain a positive learning environment. And finally, fiscal accountability, which means that we are going to maintain sound fiscal policies. Now, on the agenda tonight, we'll be talking about some educational games and creativity in which kids use the devices and to, instead of becoming consumers of content, in which they actually create content. We will also have additional resources and suggestions and a Q&A for those who have questions.
Hi, Dr. Will. If you don't mind, I'm going to put a little plug in here. We do appreciate Dr. Will D'Amport and Mrs. D'Amport sharing this session with us this evening. This is actually our encore session. We did it earlier today at 12 noon. We have a lunch and we have a dinner session at 6 p.m. Tell everyone you know, your friends, your family. We're doing these sessions every Tuesday as we're attempting to get our families and our community members engaged with the technology aspect and to strengthen our connection between home and school. Dr. Will you please share your presentation screen with us? He's going to go through several things that will make learning in the summer more fun. I know if you're like me, you're always wondering, what is my kid doing on that computer? What is he into? Well, I have news for you. Dr. Will and Miss D have shown me some new things, some fun things that my kid can do: coding, gaming, creative thinking, helping me to harness some of his interest and his energy that he often puts in what I call exercising his thumbs. That's he's really good at with the video gaming and clicking with the mouse. So this evening, we're going to learn how to use those tools constructively and to assist your student with growing. We do want to make sure that you are aware that we are always here to assist. If at any time you have any questions regarding curriculum and instruction, I will be available. You may email tonza.vaughn@Hattiesburg Public School District at HPSD.com. Miss Trotter, yes, this is available. We have options for coding, for gaming that are for all ages. If it doesn't directly affect you, you can share the presentation with others. I want to make sure that I have everyone's email addresses so that I can share the presentation with you, as well as send you the supporting resources that are available. It is being recorded, so the sessions will be recorded at a later time, will be available at a later time on our website under our Tiger Connect videos. Each week we'll have a different theme. Next week we're going into our internet safety series as well as registration. Everything you want to know about registration for the 2020-21 school year, we'll have those sessions on next week. Again, we appreciate your time. We know that your time is very, very valuable. We're going to work together and learn as much as we can. Yes, admit.
Oh, admit. Oh.
Yes, she is a parent at Timms. We're excited again that you decided to join us on this afternoon. Again, you are in the very capable hands of Will D'Amport and Mrs. D'Amport.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Elvira D'Amport, and as my husband mentioned, I am the teacher the teacher at Timms and Woodley, and I want to share a few resources with you, starting with coding. So coding and programming is a process of creating instructions for computers using programming languages. Coding is used to program the websites, apps, and any other technologies we interact with every day. So if you have used an app, a website, any type of game, we see like our children using these all the time in school, at home, then your child is probably familiar with the games, but not the behind the scenes. I call coding the behind the scenes, the work that goes into putting together that website, that game, and it's very interactive. And so with coding, it actually promotes higher level thinking, critical thinking, because they have to put things together. They have to apply mathematical skills. A lot of times it's not done like we normally do in the classroom, where they're taught to do it, but they're actually expected to apply it. So that's what I love about coding activities, because a lot of my children are like, oh, wait, we got to use 90-degree angles. We have to use, geometry. And they're just surprised that it's done in such a fun way for them. So that's why I promote coding at all levels. It's usually mostly done and offered at the secondary level with computer science classes, but we like to push it as young as possible at the elementary setting, even all the way down to pre-K if you can. If you can expose your child to coding early on, they're going to be applying a lot of those skills early on, which is very important. And then when we teach students to code, there are two languages that I like to use. We use the block, which is the squares, and it's more visual, especially for those younger learners or beginners as well. And the type coding, I would recommend the typing, they call it in this website. Typing is when you actually type out scripts, or we use a lot of JavaScript. So that's when you get into the more advanced levels of coding. You can move on to the next slide, please. So the main resource that I recommend is code.org. And this website is actually through an organization. They put together a lot of, they host an hour of code every year in December to encourage schools, clubs, activities to promote coding, because we want kids to be exposed to it. We want them to start early on. And so it's free. It doesn't require login, which I love about it. And we've been using it. If your child has been in a gifted program with Hattiesburg schools, they have been exposed to coding at some point in our programming, because we feel that it's important to use those critical thinking skills and to really expose our children to different types of thinking. And so at the bottom, what you see, the suggestions are actually, these all come from the code.org website. Kind of like, that's kind of our digital hub where we go to, you do it like as a learning center if you're in the classroom. You can do it as an activity at home with your children. They're very easy, and there's a wide range of activities. So we'll pull that coding web page up for me so they can see. It's the code.org/learn. And as you can see, this is where they host all of theirs. So the first 6 ones you see the dance party, the Minecraft, the Flappy game. Scroll down just a little bit. Right there is fine. Star Wars, the Elsa, the Frozen is a popular one. Angry Birds, those are all hosted by coding. So those are like very hands-on. They have like tutorials that usually last an hour. They're very high interest, as you can see. Like a lot of kids love Minecraft. I know a few of my students love Star Wars. The dance party is just all across the board. Popular music that they use to encourage kids to learn these different skills. And if you look at the top, you can filter for your child. So if they're pre-reader, pre-K, that's perfect. If they're grades 2 through 5, early elementary, middle school, and even 9 and up, so high schoolers too. And then all the way to the far right, you have beginner and comfortable. So if your child has not really been exposed to coding, maybe you start with beginner level, because they can be a high schooler, but they're still beginner if they've never done it. Or like my students, they're going to be in the grades 2 through 5, grades 6 through 8. If they've done it for a while, I would encourage them to do comfortable, because they're pretty comfortable with coding, especially if they've done all the levels for all of these. If you look on the left side, you have classroom technology. So at home, when you can filter even now, like if you only have an iPad at home, maybe you can filter out for that iPad. Or if they have a computer, or if, other types of things. There are different things you can filter for. Topics too, science, math, social studies, whatever they're interested in. Activity type, I would recommend if your child is starting for the first time, do the self-led tutorial, because those are the tutorials that they walk you through. They have videos within those tutorials. They teach your child new skills. They show them, and then they give them a little activity to try. And then the length, I would recommend an hour if you're just starting off, because that will give you like those really self-directed, step-by-step activities for them to try at home. And then the language, like we talked about earlier, the block is probably going to be the easiest for them to try because it's visual. They can manipulate the squares to go where they need to go. And then once your child feels comfortable, they say, well, this is pretty easy. This block stuff is easy. I'm going through these tutorials. I've done a few, and I've done them under an hour because I have children who've done that. They're just that advanced, and that's how their thinking works. Then I would say, well, try some typing, try some JavaScript. And if you look at the middle of the screen, like I said, the top 6 that you see on that page are going to be through code.org. But then you have Codable is another website. All the way to the right, those little balls you see at the right, little poof balls. Then you have Google too. They host some tutorials on here too. They're a little more advanced too, and some of them may be JavaScript. It tells you underneath. See how it says grades 2 and up, and it tells you what kind of language, blocks, and then it tells you the program. Scratch is another very popular program that also uses block coding, but it does it in a different way. And in a way, it's good to expose children to not only do it one certain way, but to try different block coding from different websites to see, because that way they can adapt their thinking. And so you have the different Code Spark Academy. Scratch is a very popular one. Scroll down a little bit more, Will. And there should be some Khan Academy somewhere in here, and it'll tell you if it's type coding or block coding. And of course, you can see the different themes. You have like the little candy themes, sports themes. So whatever, like I said, there's different interests that can for your children, different themes. That one on the left, Play Lab with the little cartoons, that one's a little more open-ended. So those are good to try out too. Like the tutorials are great for a foundation, to lay the foundation and skills. But when your child is wanting to create their own stories or something like that, or a little scenario, you can go to things like Play Lab, and then they can create their own designs. And that's always fun too, to try out. Okay, you can move on to the next slide, Will. Another thing that we encourage too in our gifted program, and even at home, I will really strongly encourage, is video creation. Because like we were saying, our children are so used to being consumers of knowledge. They know how to pick up a tablet, find an app, play with it, play a game. Even when at school, like you put them on iReady, they know what to do. And that's all great, and that's all wonderful to reinforce skills. But to really push our students, I really ask the question, like, well, what have you created lately? What is something you can make? And so with video creation, you give them that opportunity to really, hone in on those creativity skills, communication skills, because they have to think about, well, how am I going to, instead of writing this, how am I going to present this visually? So there is going to be some writing involved, like a dialogue, a script. There's going to be some organizational skills they're going to have to think about, well, how am I going to make this come together as one piece? So a lot of problem solving too. And the creativity piece also comes too with if they're at home. The fun part is you have props at your disposal. So you can have, them dress up, whatever it is, because, kids, they want to share things. They're always willing to share. And I know they have stories they want to share on their own. And so we want to push them to make those visual representations of what they've learned, of things that are important in their life. And video creation helps them do that. At the bottom, you will see there's a storyboard template that you can utilize to plan. And it's very basic. I mean, it looks very plain. It's just a storyboard template is basically, it has squares at the top and lines at the bottom. So each square would be a scene, if you would think of it that way. And so the top, the blank square at the top could be them sketching out their scene, like what's the scene going to look like? And then the bottom could have either instructions or dialogue that happens within that scene. So you can be it's open-ended. You can be as creative, as involved as you want. But, we have some students at home, our children, they're very, those who love to act and love to share and love to just, oh, mama, let me show you this, or Miss So-and-so, let me show you this. Or put those kids to work and let's put them in front of a camera. And it's so simple. You can use your iPhone. You can use, Chromebooks, anything for video creation to use that. So go to the next one, Will. So one of my favorite tools is Adobe Spark. I use it as a teacher myself at my school. And it's very simple. I would recommend, they have an app for your phone that you can use, but I would recommend trying out the web version online with the device, like on a computer, on a Chromebook, because it doesn't require a login. And it's free. So your child can log in, and you can log in with, if you want to, with your Google. It asks you for your Google account, so you can put in your student account or your account just to try it out. And what you see on the right side when you create a video, because there's many things you can create on Adobe Spark. You can create posters, you can create flyers. But for the video part, when you click on create a video, it gives you templates basically. So the ones on the right, those are two of the templates that I really enjoyed. One's called a hero's journey. So this one, it tells you, do you have, tell how a regular person overcame a great challenge, or your child can feature someone that is important in their lives, someone who they see as their hero. That's something important too. And then they can also interview the person too, and have them, embed videos. You can put pictures in there. And then another thing we do in Reach a lot is called show and tell. So every week a child brings in their artifact, something that is important to them. It could be a family heirloom. It could be something from the past, something that's significant in their families. And so see under show and tell, it says, describe something important to you and why it should matter to you and your audience. So that's another way to showcase those things. And they have many more that you can pick from. But some suggestions, as you see underneath here, is if you have like a family vacation photo album, we'll have them put that together. Can they embed those photos in there and talk about, why that vacation or that trip was so important and memorable for them? You could do at a school level, or even for them, if they want to do like a little digital yearbook for their school year, to summarize their school year. That's something special too, like field trips they took. It could be like activities that they enjoyed or things that they learned during the school year. And of course, like I mentioned, the show and tell, they can do that as well. And you can share that with family, with your relatives, and I know they would enjoy that. And here are two examples at the bottom I made for my school. One was the wax museum. We had a wax museum to feature for Black history. And this one's very basic. It's just all pictures and music. Is there a way to showcase the sound, Will? And this was just like a side-by-side photo. And you can always embed text. You can do video for this one. And of course, music. You can add music too. And then the second one that's a little more involved is the 5th grade promotion video. And this one could be like a good format for a yearbook too. Because with this one, you have your text that they can do. They could pick their slide, the theme. You have intro videos. I had intro videos for hours. So you can have them talk in front of the screen, like welcome, introducing maybe their project. This one was kind of like a welcome for parents. And then we did throwbacks. And so thanks to my wonderful parents for sending me old pictures, their baby pictures of when they were younger. And of course, they can put music in there too, the background music. And then we did sections. So we did highlights for the school year. And of course, another intro video. But your child could be in all the videos and introducing different sections or different parts of their project or whatever it is they want to share. And then we have highlights of the school year. You can go back to the slide, Will. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, pictures of the teachers at the end. And then a thank you. So those are a few variations.
A podcast is an audio file in which people are telling stories, they're making commentary, they're reviewing products or books or interviewing other people. And it is a great way for students to start creating with that iPhone, that iPad, that Android tablet, and Android smartphone. There are even options that you can use a Chromebook or a PC or MacBook to create podcasts as well. One of the benefits of creating a podcast is it reinforces language skills, because kids will be researching, they will be writing the script They will also be practicing their public speaking skills. So it is, again, a great way for students to get engaged. And podcasts are very, very popular. They are hosted on all sorts of sites, from Apple Podcast to Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Simplecast, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, you name it. And there are a lot of free tools from Anchor, which is a app you can download on your iPhone, to a couple of tools that we'll be talking in this presentation. Vocaroo allows you to record just an audio file. And with that, in creating your series, you can give a commercial or review of a favorite book. So we know kids are taking AR tests, but what if they did a review of the book using Vocaroo or Soundtrap? Same thing for a movie or video. They could interview a family member and allow them to tell their story. They could interview a community member as well and have that story out there. So it is a great way for, again, kids are using these skills of researching the topic. They are writing out the script. And again, they're practicing these skills. And these are real life skills that students will take with them beyond school. So when I go to Vocaroo, simply, I just need to hit the record option. And now, as I'm speaking right now, it is just recording. And once you're done, you will see this share option in which you can actually download the video, and the video can be put in Google Drive and share it later, or you can use any other host of free podcast hosting sites in which that can be put on there, and you can actually then share that podcast to an authentic audience outside of school. And then there is Soundtrap, which again is a free site, but it also has pay options. But with the free site, you have over 900 sounds that you can use, whether it's music, instruments, sound effects. And this can be used on a Chromebook. It can be used on any desktop. It is a website-based application, so it lives in the cloud. Your podcast is actually, whatever you create is actually saved there and can be easily, again, downloaded, put into Google Drive, as well as put on any number of podcast hosting sites, which are free.
Another way to encourage students to create their own content is to also read different content. So we're used to the traditional novels, but if you haven't explored graphic novels and comic books, I encourage you to. They're very high interest types of books that have come out with a different series. Actually, if you've seen your child come home with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that was a real famous one at the lower level, elementary level. They have the Big Nate series. Those are wonderful, wonderful series. And I just discovered too myself going through these lists is they have old the tradition, like the classics, like The Wrinkle in Time, have graphic novel versions of that. So that's very exciting too, to explore those. But with graphic novels and comic books, of course, they reinforce the language skills because the kids are reading, but also we want to push them to maybe write their own. So again, that taps into that creativity, that storytelling, and really pushes them to write in different contexts. Like now they're looking at dialogue. Now they're looking at more closely at character development because we're looking at those story elements now. So comic books and graphic novels are a must and something to really explore, especially if your child is an avid reader. These are really, really great. If they probably already do if they're avid readers. But at the bottom, you will see resources from Common Sense Media, which is a wonderful, wonderful resource for teachers, parents. If you want to get a review basically on books, it could be books, movies, television series, even video games. Common Sense Media is a wonderful, wonderful resource because it breaks it down for you. Like it tells you like what's age level appropriate, basically what the themes are in each of those books. And those two lists at the bottom, you will see they're very, very extensive lists for graphic novels. and they start with elementary level, like second grade. That first list will start like at second grade level. And then as you scroll down, you will see that it goes all the way down to high school, and the themes become a little more mature as you scroll down. So it's, it's up to you as a parent to decide, what level, what's acceptable for my child, and then just kind of pick and choose what you would like for your child to read. And also to the bottom one, it starts with intermediate, more like fourth and fifth grade, elementary level. And again, it goes all the way down to secondary books. And then just pretty much you can filter for whatever age, grade, what you want for yours. And I think a parent mentioned in the earlier video we did earlier was that she said if you go to your local comic book store and you ask the people who work at the store, they will help you find, age appropriate, theme appropriate novels and comic books for your child.
Students can create their own comic strips with Pictoon as well as Makebelieve Comics. Again, students are creating their own stories, practicing their literacy skills, those writing skills, communication skills, and they are actually creating. So once I go into this Makebelieve Comics, I actually have created one here where, and it's free, and you can actually save and download it. You can actually have up to 18 panels, but I started on this. And so I have a student who is coming in, talking to the cooking culinary arts teacher, saying, I'm here to interview you. As you can see, he is having a duty of a time because he burned something. And then she asked, did I catch you at a bad time? And he was just saying, hey, better. She told him that I heard you are a best baker. And he said, better than the burned chicken. And as you come down here, you can see that when you click on characters, it allows you to choose from different characters to put in your different panels. You can actually then pick your different balloons for your dialogue that goes in. You can bring different objects into it as well, change the color of your background as I did right here. And you can, as well as bringing in different objects. So I love it as a great way for kids to think about creating these stories and using technology to create, working on literacy skills, creating an authentic, original project and work that can then be downloaded and shared to an authentic audience. So these are all of the resources. You'll be getting a copy of this slide deck as well as a PDF document that has all of these websites along with the actual URL of www. And then you'll have access to those in which you can actually go in with your child and actually start to allow them to explore and create and use the tools for more than consumption. So stay tuned for the next Tiger Connect, which will be on next Tuesday, June 30th at 12 o'clock. The topic will be cybersecurity, social media, online gaming, and web do's and don'ts for students. And again, we will be doing at next week at 6 o'clock for Tiger Connect. The topic will be back to school registration and what you as a parent or guardian should know. For more information, please contact Hattiesburg Public School District at 601-582-5078 and contact the Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Tanzavon. At this moment, does anyone have any questions?
All right, Dr. Will, I guess you all did a wonderful job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to make sure that everyone did check the chat box there. Special thank yous to all of our parents, community members, and our teachers who joined us. Check the chat box there. You will see that our door prize winners for this afternoon are Miss Ashley Coleman and Mrs. Tarsha Trotter. Congratulations. Check your emails tonight. You will have a digital gift card emailed to you. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. These videos will be available following the session. If I have your email address, they will be emailed to you. Also, they will be posted online under our new link entitled Tiger Connect. And under that link, you will have access to this video as well as previous session videos. How to check your email for our students. Last week we did summer learning activities. We've been doing technology sessions since April, May. So we're really trying to make the connection and transition smooth between this digital learning piece and home. So again, congratulations to our door prize winners. Thank you all again so much for taking your time and joining us. And if you would check that box there for me, you will also see a link to all of the previous Tiger Connect videos. If you have any questions, my email address is there in the box. Dr. Will is going to drop his there as well for you. We do appreciate you again. Everyone, please be safe. Have a great night. Enjoy your families. Love on them. And thank you so very much for entrusting us with your very, very most precious gift, your children. Have a wonderful night.